It's the tips for next round. Such a big round coming up. Such a big round. And I feel like I've done pretty well with who's going to win. So, Collingwood versus Brisbane, Friday night at Marvel. We know Brisbane can play at Marvel, and we know Collingwood, they can just play football. So I've tipped the Pies by 14 points. It's going to be a big game. It is, again, all of them are big games, but this one's a big game, and I tipped Collingwood by 14 points, and I'll leave it at that. Richmond and North Melbourne, it's at the MCG. If it was at Marvel, I would have been tempted to tip the Roos. But no, I've stuck with Richmond. Obviously, North Melbourne, they're leaving Wardlaw out, and a couple of other players, Zerha as well, just for the end of the season, so they're right for next year. So, no, Richmond will get the job done then. Suns and Carlton at the Gold Coast, Heritage Bank Stadium. Carlton will win that. They'll win 9 in a row, and they are on track to almost win the Cup. I can see them winning the Cup from here. I feel like they've just done enough. They are threatening teams. They are scary good. And, yeah, I can just visualise them holding up the Cup at the end of September. Giants and Essendon. Giants get the job done for me. There'll be a bit of skill involved, but it's more about who's more likely and who's more willing to go the extra mile. Essendon, they leave it to the very last minute. They left it to the very last minute for West Coast. They did the same against North. And I feel like the Giants will roll them in Giants Stadium. They'll be bouncing back from that heavy defeat against Port Adelaide. They're at the home ground with the home fans. The home energy, no, I reckon they'll pick up the 4 points there. Prime time, Saturday night, 7:25 at Marvel. The Cats and the Saints. This is the game that we've been waiting for. This is the game that may shape the 8. Saints and the Cats is going to be a ripper. I tipped the Cats only sheerly because they just have to win. They have to win to make the finals. They certainly want to make the finals. I feel like they'll be coming out raring to play, and they will give it everything, their best shot to make sure they get the 4 points. So the Cats over the Saints, I think. Adelaide Oval, Crows versus Swans. The Crows will get the job done. The Adelaide Oval is their fortress. They could beat any team at the Adelaide Oval. They did it twice against Port Adelaide. They just lost to Collingwood. That was when they were in their prime. And they'll just get the job done. So I don't think, even if Collingwood versus the Cats, even if Collingwood versus the Crows right now at the Adelaide Oval, I feel like the Crows get the job done. They know the Oval like the back of their hand, and yeah, it's as simple as that. The Crows will get the job done against the Swans. We now go to Sunday afternoon. The Dogs and the Eagles. If you tip the Eagles, I think you'll just go to hell because there's no way they're making. They're probably not even going to make it within 30 points at best. So the Dogs will get the job done. It's going to be a handy win for them. If they win, they've got to win by a lot. They cannot afford to let this game slip. The Dogs, they need a percentage boost. They're going to get it by versing West Coast. They have to win by 50 or more. I'm calling it now. They cannot verse a team with the depletion of the Eagles right now and just lose and just win by a handy 20 points. They have to play, and they have to play deadly. Like, they've got to be out there, not to play, but they've got to be out there to kill. Like, they cannot be affording any 20-point, 30-point win. They've got to win by well and truly over 50 points if they want to really be a threat in finals. We go to Melbourne and the Hawks. The Hawks, they've been quite impressive in the past few weeks. But Melbourne, I feel like Melbourne have just starting to drop away. And this is the game they really need to win to solidify their spot in the top 4. They'll be versing the Hawks, and they have to get the job done. Clayton Oliver back, Petrarca back. They've got their prime team. They've got Max Gawn, and they've just got to get the job done. They can't afford for I wouldn't say a subpar. I'd just call Hawks a par team. So you can't afford to have an average team just roll over the top of it. So the D's will get the job done. And lastly, we go to Optus Stadium in Perth, where the Dockers host the Power. Power get the job done for me, only because They're sitting in the top four in third position, and they'll just get the 4 points. Obviously, the Dockers, after a 100-point win against West Coast, they'll be confident. They'll be up and about, but I think their confidence will be drowned quite early in the game, where I feel like the Port Adelaide club will be absolutely rolling over the top of them, and they'll just be running around them like witches' hats. So hopefully the Port Adelaide Power, they can get the job done. And again, it's a big game to end the round. So that's that for the tips for round 23.